Live from our studios here in Kokomlemle, Accra, this is Joy News. Welcome to Ghana's leading business analysis program. This is Beyond the Numbers.
This is the only show dedicated to the market update, bringing you updates on deals and key headlines shaping your business today.
Right, cocoa has been a huge topic in the last few days, and currently we're seeing that Gov't is saying, look, even though we've given haircuts to the farmers, we as well are also cutting down on our salaries. What do you make of that? Do you think this is going to make any significant difference?
You know, this has been a recommendation from the IMF previously that there should be a full restructuring. This should have been done in 2025, but haven't seen it being done yet due to the market change. Does not really interest me somehow. But I got information a few seconds before we came on air by the PRO of Gov't, Jerome Sam, saying on his Facebook page that I am happy to report Gov't has started payment of the 50,000 metric tons. An amount of 237 million has been paid. This is according to him that he just posted right now on his Facebook page. We hope that certain sentiment within the cocoa industry in Ghana will be toned down basically. But still, there are still some challenges we'll be reviewing here on Beyond the Numbers.
Definitely. Now let's get into our top business stories headlines for today, Winston.
Yes, indeed. Now, straight from the fiscal corridors, as Government of Ghana announces 10 billion Ghana cedis in interest under the domestic debt exchange program, marking a major milestone in the country's fiscal consolidation efforts. Authorities say the forecast settlement covers cedi-denominated DDEP coupon obligations in line with the restructuring memorandum and the government's broader debt management strategy. Governments say this move demonstrates strengthened fiscal capacity and solvency, reassuring both domestic and international investors.
Well, from the fiscal corridors, Winston, let me take you to the monetary space where the Bank of Ghana clarified that digital innovation and virtual assets will not sideline or weaken the Ghana cedi, while assuring the public that the local currency remains central to the country's monetary system. The acting head of fintech and innovation at the bank, Oreku Asari, said digital financial developments are intended to complement, not undermine the cedi.
Now to the fixed income arena. Secondary bond market activity moderated over the week, with aggregate turnover declining to 42.5% week on week to 2.27 billion Ghana cedis. The flow dynamics suggest a clear preference for the belly of the curve. The 2031-2034 segment-dominated activity accounted for 46.4% of turnover at a weighted average yield of 14.53%. On the other hand, the 2027-2030 maturities captured 41.9% of traded volumes at a 13.75% weighted average yield.
Well, on cocoa matters, the sector's crisis is deepening in Parliament as the minority caucus mounted a fierce challenge against the Mahama administration's decision to slash producer prices. Now, the caucus is accusing the government of mismanagement, policy inconsistency, and political deception, while neighboring Côte d'Ivoire maintains its producer price, shielding its farmers from similar shocks. The minority's demand for an immediate reversal of the price cut. In fact, the minority caucus wants the finance minister in Parliament to answer questions.
Now to money supply matters. Currency in circulation slows significantly to 67 billion cedis last year, a development that shows the Bank of Ghana's liquidity tightening is working. That according to a new data that we have picked up from the Bank of Ghana.
Well, licensed buying companies have indicated that they are open to talks on possible restructuring of more 10 billion cedis debt owed by Gov't. This is coming after government announced it has taken over the debts of Gov't over proposed restructuring plan. Samuel Adimado is president of the Licensed Buying Companies Association and has confirmed this to Joy Business.
Now, last stop will be the business space, where some businesses are raising serious concerns about the current gap between the inflation and the policy rate. Ghana's inflation for the month of January stands at 3.8%, while Bank of Ghana's policy rate stood at 15.50%. Mark Bedu-Abuaje is the Chief Executive of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and he insists the development is not good for business.
Well, this is Beyond the Numbers. Now we test the pulse of markets shortly. Please stay with us.
That's how it is.
So, we're still on Market Watch. This is where we test the pulse of the markets, and Grace Monanyun of Data Bank Research is joining us via Zoom for the markets. And I mean, just before I spoke to Grace, I've been monitoring what is happening on the markets, and what I can tell you is that there is a new guy on the block in terms of those who are gaining. Yeah. And that is in the person of Farm Milk Ghana. I mean, there's a big gain over there. But, you know, we've had big announcements last week and this week, especially coming from the cocoa space and even from the Bank of Ghana governor himself. So let's try and get to Grace. She will give us what the market is looking at currently. Grace, can you hear us?
Hear me.
Hello, Grace?
Yes, can you hear me?
Oh, Michelle, take it away.
Right, Grace, bid liquidity float now. Now, we've heard of the government, you know, sorting out the 10 billion Ghana cedis in DDEP coupon, you know, payments. Is this making its way into the market?
Yes, thank you for having me once again. Yes, you're right about the coupon payments, and yes, it is having its way in the market. We've seen liquidity thriving to trading from Monday up to today. We've seen a lot of entrance in terms of interest on the shorter term of the curve, in terms of the treasury bills, and then shorter bonds on the market as we speak. And there are still a lot of interest flowing in to buy these bonds as we are talking now.
10 billion is huge, Grace, and you are saying that currently is making its way into the market, and you make some big revelation about the short-term end of the market. Would it be safe to say that investors have done their own calculation, they know the risk, and have decided to stay at the short-term end term of the market?
Yes, I think at this point they will be right to say that, because investors are looking out for the cocoa bond that is coming onto the market. They want to see at what rate or at what yield the bonds will be offering. So they are kind of skeptical in looking into the longer term. So then, if the bond comes in and it's a better yield on the market, why not pick it up? So I think investors have done a bit of their calculations, and they are gearing towards the shorter term of the curve.
Right, Grace. Last week we had a big call from the governor urging Ghana commercial banks to list. Now, is this announcement making any impact yet?
Right. This announcement isn't new to the market. Conversations started somewhere last year. And I think through that, we saw FAB list, that's First Atlantic Bank list on the market. And I mean, conversations kept on thriving on that front, expecting other commercial banks to list on the market, where they started making room for, I mean, in terms of operational wise, to put these companies in measure, to put them right on the market for other investors to take advantage of. So yes, I mean, investors are looking out for these commercial banks to list on the market. And as I speak, there's currently a lot of interest for the banking stocks and then the insurance counters as well. So yes, investors are waiting, probably, I mean, ready to absorb what these commercial banks have to offer when they eventually list on the market.
Tell me about the story of First Atlantic Bank. I want to know more.
Yeah, First Atlantic Bank, since listing, I mean, the counter has been thriving on the stock market. Investors have favorably looked upon the counter, and as we speak, it's part of one of the gainers for the day. And I believe investors still pushing in to buy more and looking at the bids we have on screen. And I believe investors continue to favor it into the near term. So yes, a lot of interest on the counter. We expect the movement to continue into somewhere first quarter of the year.
Well, we want to test the pulse of the market. Now, we understand that farm milk is picking up strongly. What more do we know?
Yeah, farm milk, they released their numbers. They were good. I mean, investors saw the numbers that came in. And I believe they are sort of picking up views that the company will continue to thrive well in the financial year 2026. So they are betting on what the outcome will be. And investors are also fingers crossed waiting on any possible dividend announcements as the end goal may be. So yes, maybe just a little interest based on these factors.
Talking about dividend and the quest to sell, I want you to tell me what is happening currently in the cocoa bill space. Last week, on Monday, you told us that, prevailing rate was around 13%. Investors were willing to sell off around 14%. Has anything changed? Because investors are really watching the market, especially after the announcement that cocoa bonds is going to be the go-to platform for the financing of purchase of cocoa beans in Ghana.
Yes, that's right. The news have finally settled in the market, and I believe investors are viewing the bonds attractive. And we've seen a lot of activity pick up on that front with investors trading their cocoa bonds actively on the markets from Monday to today as we speak. So yes, we expect interest to keep picking up on that front for investors to continue to favor the bonds on the market.
Investors are watching. They want to pick intelligence from you. What should they look out for?
In terms of which markets are we looking at?
Let's go to the equities market.
Equity market, yeah. There's still interest, like I mentioned from the beginning. Investors, I may not be in a position to advise investors to pick stock A and stock B, but looking at what is on the screen and the interest we are getting from the investors we are seeing so far, we see them bid towards EcoBank Ghana, mostly the banking counters, and then also the insurance sector. MTN Ghana is also making an entrance heavily on the market, which we believe investors could take advantage of before the numbers are released.
Before the market even closes at 3, I want you to tell us about what is happening also in the currency space. Tell us about the movement. What is the health of the cedi currently? And in terms of currency movement, what else are we looking at in terms of where to look forward to in terms of the very short-term end of the market, especially looking at the fact that since the beginning of the year, we've seen cedi depreciate by some 5%. What can you report in terms of the movements in the currency space?
Right, thank you. I'll speak to the performance on the retail market, which is the easy access to investors if they want to do any transaction. Currently, from Monday to today, we've seen the currency stabilize. US dollar, pound, euro, we've seen a lot of stability. It's just the same rates at 11.63 versus the USD. And I believe the stability will continue to close the week's trading. Reason being that under normal circumstances, I expected a lot of speculative activities on the currency as the coupon payments were issued out this week, because investors will be looking at alternative investments since they're not meeting expectation on the treasury market. A lot of bills being rejected here and there. Under normal circumstances, we would have seen investors rerouting their interest to the currency in terms of holding for future appreciation of their cedi. But the narrative isn't the case now, because we believe currently the dollar itself is stable. Investors are quite unsure where exactly it will trade, because the US government has made us understand that they have intentions to devalue the USD. It is not official yet, but it's just an intention, and we believe that the market is reacting towards that news, and they are quite skeptical about holding the USD for safe haven assets And for that reason, we've seen that has helped a lot of stability on the markets against some SSCA countries and currencies, including the CE.
Okay.
So we believe the stability will continue towards, until some clarity is seen on that front.
We believe that stability will continue. And Grace, maybe next week I'll start asking you about gold coin, because Michelle has 2 gold coins, 1 ounce and then 0.5 ounce. We want to know what is happening in the gold coin space. But thank you very much, Grace Monanyun of Data Bank Research. Still on Market Watch, let's go to the cocoa space, where the president of the Licensed Cocoa Buyers Association, Samuel Animado, started to join us on Beyond the Numbers. Mr. Samuel, can you hear us?
Yes, good afternoon, Kofi
Good afternoon.
and Michelle.
Good afternoon to you.
I mean, your announcement.
And good afternoon to good afternoon to your listeners as well.
Great. We are still analyzing what you told Joy Business in terms of being in pole position to actually accept some level of debt restructuring as far as the your debt to the cocoa board space is concerned. Tell us more. When you say you are open for restructuring, first of all, we want to know how much is cocoa board owing you? We know they owe you 10 billion cedis, but is there any other legacy debt that you might want to tell us?
Yes, Kofi and Michelle, as I keep on indicating that the bulk, first of all, let me indicate to your listeners and the general public that our members have started receiving payment from Cocoa Board, and we are paying the farmers whose cocoa we have not been able to pay. So we are paying the farmers, as I keep on indicating that our activities is throughout the year, and there's only one, it's just a 1-day break. That's, we end the season on the 30th of September, and then we start it 1st of October. So we are paying farmers. Cocoa Board is paying, as you indicated, Jerome indicated, our members are receiving money and we are paying. So we appeal to the farmers to have patience. They will be paid. Yes, Kofi and Michelle, I indicated that our debt is with the commercial banks. And yeah, you use the word restructuring, but I will use the word re-engineering. Okay. Our debt is with the commercial banks. So once we've made it clear to the commercial banks that, yes, we are aware, we haven't gone for the money and refusing to settle it. So that is a good faith that we've shown with the commercial banks. Then I indicated that we are available for all options. The options that are within the re-engineering space is how to talk to the banks and look at interest rates and all the I wouldn't bore your listeners with the details of the re-engineering, but basically is that you don't, because the banks take money from people, it's not their own money. So you need to engage the banks together with the banks and see how the debt is managed in a way that it doesn't affect those whose money are with the banks.
Mr. Adimado, if I understand you, this restructuring exercise is with the commercial banks that you are owing, not with Cocoa Board.
Yes, so for Cocoa Board side, some of our members debt with Cocoa Board size can also be managed. So we are partners, key partners with the farmers in the space. So because it's with different commercial banks, they will talk to our members. Cocoa Board will also follow to let them know the strategy or the positioning that we are embracing. That's the options that we are embracing in making sure that with time we settle the banks, whilst we continue to address the key and core aspect of making sure every farmer is paid.
Okay.
So now what we are doing is to making sure that wherever the farmer is, farmers who have not received their payment, we are aggressively doing that. And as it was announced last week, Thursday, Friday we had meetings, Monday payments started coming in. And you know where some of the farmers are, if money is released to your commercial bank, you need to transfer. So it takes time. So our appeal to the farmers, wherever they are, that they will be paid. And therefore, it's just the transfer system that might create some delay. So Our members are on the ground. We are also in talk with Cocoa Board. We have been having engagement frequently to make sure that we do the immediate aspect. The debt that sits with the banks, as we have made it publicly, the banks are also listening. Their various boards of directors are aware that, yes, we have been faithful with what is happening, and they are all together to address the challenges that we find ourselves in.
Okay.
So at this juncture, I would more again appeal to the farmers that they should have patience, and also appeal to the media houses that farmers are being paid. So we need to be part and parcel of resolving this challenge to make sure that we get to a good pedestal. I also use this medium to also advise all of us that, yes, in as much as we have challenges in our cocoa sector, we should also appreciate the sensitivity of the terminal market. So that we package the story in such a way that the response on the terminal market will be positive. The response can be negative, where the price will continue to have a nosedive. So our appeal to all media houses and all commentators on cocoa, that because the terminal market is so sensitive, our appeal that we should manage in a way the way we present the issues. We should stick to the facts, and then appreciate that this is an inelastic commodity. Cocoa is an inelastic commodity, and therefore, if you are on a market that is so sensitive, any little things you can have challenges. So we should walk in the corridor of where the market will respond positively, so that the price can go up for the benefit of Ghana and all the anybody who depends on cocoa, including our gallant farmers.
Right. Sam, quickly, I want to know, we've heard of the new financing model from Cocoa Board that's resorting to local bonds. Do you think this is a safe haven?
Yes. You know, I've heard people saying, as the minister put it, in an automatic response to the terminal market. It's a safe haven because, you know, we are dealing with cocoa. We need constant supply of cocoa from the farms to Cocoa Board to the industry for processing. Constant supply is key. Therefore, when we said there is going to be cocoa bond, yes, automatically responding to the market, the structure will not be as the question people are asking. This is cocoa. So, and it's an inelastic commodity. So the position is that whatever benefit that sits on the terminal market, the farmer will be better off. Now, this bond is also going to make sure that whatever negativity that would happen on the terminal market, the farmer will be insulated, in the sense that any excess money that the farmer will get after getting his not less than 70%, that money will not be used because there's money to be used for other things. That money is for cocoa. So like previously we heard of stabilization fund, sinking fund. So this bond is strictly for cocoa from the bush to those who need it, the industries and others. So I've heard other commentators expressing fear, but my call is that Ministry of Finance, Cocoa Board should assemble the right team, those who know what it is. It's not try and error. There are people who know what needs to be done exactly. And these are the people that we need them to sit down to work out the details and structure it, so that the fear and the comments people are making will be addressed, because there's a solution. It's a simple solution, but if you don't have the know-how, you miss the boat.
Okay, Mr. Animado, I mean, this is a space, I'm talking about Cocoa Board. This is an institution that got, restructuring in 2023, gave investors some level of haircut. You yourself, if you are given the chance, or if you have liquidity and you are asked to buy cocoa bonds, would you buy?
Yes, as an agric economist, I know what I'm talking of.
With all the risk.
And when I say, yes, you see, when I say this bond is strictly for cocoa, that is it, strictly for cocoa. And I also indicated that it's an inelastic commodity. Don't think there'll always be a windfall. There will be a period that you need to prepare, that the worst day will happen. It will come because it's an inelastic commodity. So you need the experts to structure it so that when the unexpected comes, there is a shock absorber to make sure that nobody suffers along the line. So as I indicated, there are experts in this country. There are world's resource, great economists, people who have done work outside the country and know what needs to be done. So it's not a matter of anybody coming in to. When we get the experts to do the job will be done. It's as simple as it is. All that we need is the blessings from the Ministry of Finance, which we've gotten, saying that never again should we deviate from the business of moving cocoa from the field to where Cocoa Board needs to push it. So that will be our cardinal principle. Assemble the experts, and the experts will address all the fears that is in the way. But let me also use your medium to also indicate that. Let me repeat that the sensitivity of the market needs to also to be respected. That is how it is. So that our commentaries will not, feed into the negativity part of the market.
Now, talking about sensitivity. After that announcement from the finance minister last week, we've seen the price per ton of cocoa go down by some $200. Would you say that our decision to cut price and to signal to the market that we have excess was reckless?
No, that is not how it is. You see, when we say something is sensitive, it takes sensitivity analysis. I don't want to bore your listeners. All that I'm saying is that we should assemble, get the right people with the knowledge to comment on it so that the commentary will not feed into the negativity part of the sensitive market. So the decision that has happened, if you talk to the experts, is the right decision to make sure that the farmer is taken care of. Now, that is what we need to hammer on, and then make sure that come October, the new season will come. So come October, how are we going to handle our cocoa?
Okay.
And then also, I've been indicating over and over that we are paying our farmers. Cocoa Board is paying. Cocoa Board is issuing checks to our members, and our members are paying. Yes, one will say the money is not huge, it's not enough, but we are paying. This part of the information needs to be anchored and then present that, look, in the midst of these challenges, we are paying. Our members are receiving money.
Okay.
As in one of the platform, when a farmer was asked, have you received your money? He said, yes, because we are in main crop. And then, yes, we'll get to the light crop where the beans will start trickling in. So I need us to anchor this effort that we are making sure that wherever money is, we are getting the money to pay our farmers. So that is my appeal.
Okay, final question. My final question will be, you keep saying that farmers have actually received payment. Can you quantify for us how much has been paid so far since the announcement?
Yes, thank you. Yesterday, this morning, I think the PR of Cocoa Board indicated that about 50 million has been paid. As I indicated, when money, as soon as now, Cocoa Board has prioritized paying LBCs, so the LBCs will be paying the farmers. And substantial amount. As in the commentary, one will indicate the debt is 10 billion, Cocoa Board also said 11 billion, but money is being paid. So the strategy is that whatever money that comes into the system, the priority is to release it to the LBCs so that the LBCs will pay the farmers, and then they also buy cocoa from the farmers so that we maintain the integrity of our cocoa quality.
Okay.
And that is where I'm appealing that we should anchor this effort and then ensure that once we anchor it, it's a positive signal so that it will feed into the sensitivity of the market, and then we'll be better off. So that is my appeal. In terms of absolute figures, once a while, I think Cocoa Board will announce it. Today, they've announced they've issued a check of 250 million Ghana cedis. I will encourage your team to also engage Cocoa Board so that the numbers will be released. You know that these numbers involve goes to our members and individual members that receive along the line, so that they go to the field and make sure that they sort our gallant farmers out.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Samuel Ajimado, for joining us.
For this opportunity.
Thank you very much. Now, Sam is the president for the licensed cocoa buyers here in Ghana. Now, we'll take a breather. When we're back, is Big Analysis. Please stay with us.
We're still on Beyond the Numbers. It's time for Big Analysis. We brought you that conversation on the cocoa sector, where the president of the Licensed Buyers Association has actually disclosed that some amount of money has been released to the farmers. Winston also brought you the update from Jerome, who speaks for Cocoa Board, saying that, well, they can confirm that some over 200 million cedis has actually been released so far. We turn our attention to Big Analysis, Winston, where government has paid some 10 billion Ghana cedis in terms of DDEP interest payment. This is a big figure, and it has a lot of impact on the market. That's why we think it will be important to actually analyze this. But we are not doing this alone. We have some two top men who
absolutely. We have the Securities and Exchange Commission, the chairman, and the person of Dr. Edu Anani, who will be joining us on Zoom, as well as the economist, senior lecturer at GIMPA himself, Dr. Nyame Befi, who will be bringing us up-to-date information about what the assess will be the impact on the market. Let's take our viewers through some little history. Since the onset of the DDEP, we were there when the former finance minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, announced that there's going to be a restructuring. Initially, they were promised there's going to be a haircut. A disco format was promised. People thought it was a disco party. Nonetheless, it came to a point where some pension fund holders also attested to the fact that they will not be included. And subsequently, some parts were included. So the DDEP itself began with just a whisper. When government was under intensive pressure, fiscal deficit was high, our debt did not look good, our ratings were quite bad, and all this outlook gave a negative projection. We were banned from the external market, and there's a need for us to get some funding, because else the economy was likely going to collapse. But it appeared that that was kind of a last option for government, saying that there need to be a burden sharing. That was one phrase the former finance minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, kept using, that burden sharing. Every time I was at most of the press conferences, he kept saying, let's share, there's going to be haircuts, some salaries were even cut from some ministers. All of those conversations will build up to the huge expectation, where eventually some individual bondholders were eventually affected. We saw some demonstrations on the streets. People were saying their pensions were affected. Some have worked for several years. And all these were the effect, a ripple effect of this decision to restructure our debt. Now, we've seen over the years, some fulfillment plan were rolled out, bilateral creditors, all the build up to where we are now, where government is mandated statutory to be paying and fulfilling its debt obligations.
In terms of the spreading of the coupon payments for both DDEP and external debts repayment, I think it was 2026, 2027 that a lot of people said that these were the years that were going to test how sound the economy was at that point in time, whether government was in pole position to actually make the payment.
That was before the election when we make that projection, basically.
And in fact, we've checked so far in terms of interest payment under the domestic debt exchange program, government has paid in excess of 30 billion Ghana cedis. And with this 10 billion coming in fact, we've checked, and this is the highest payment so far that we've seen, although we've seen about 9.8 billion payment in one period before. But the big question is, this is big money coming into the space. We will talk to those who are actually involved at the moment, speak to Dr. Edu Anani. He himself is an individual bondholder. He was a convener and now board chair of SEC. Especially, we want to know how this is going to affect the market, for instance. This is big money coming into the space. Where is it going to go? Is it going to chase after dollars? Is it going to chase after treasury bills, which currently have very low coupon payment? Is it going to sit down and wait for the issuance of the cocoa bills, or are investors going to look at different options? Well, they've suffered some level of haircut. Now they are getting their coupons, right? The key question is, are they going to keep this monies and decide that, well, we're not going to invest again because it's becoming a bit risky? Is government giving the assurance that even if you decide to buy new bonds, we are likely to pay you? So let's go on Zoom and speak to Dr. Edouard Anientwi, who is an individual with...
Chairman of the Security and Exchange Commission, but
formerly
individual bondholders. He's been leading.
And if you see him, you see picketing everywhere at the Finance Ministry when this whole DDEP issue came up. The question I want to ask you, Dr. Edouard Anientwi, is, have you received money so far? 10 billion.
Have you received an alert?
Have you received an alert? Doc, kindly unmute so you can speak to us.
Yes, I think I'm appearing as an individual bondholder and, of course, convener of the bondholders, pensioner bondholders forum, not as chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission. So we are talking just about the bonds.
Yeah.
Yes, let me explain, and I keep on explaining. For people whose bonds were exempted or who did not present their bonds for the exchange, namely the pensioners who stood their grounds and say we want exemption, and they were exempted, and other individuals who were not pensioners but also tried to ride on the back of pensioners and also did not submit their bonds for the exchange. For those categories, that is the pensioners and those who didn't submit their bonds, they have been receiving their coupons regularly as they were receiving before the exchange. So for them, their coupons come almost every week. Someone's coupon will be due. Some people's will be due this month, this week. Others will be next week. Others will be 3 weeks. Others. So that is how the unstructured ones are paid. But for those who gave their bonds for the new bonds, the restructured bonds, for them, all of them, their coupons become due every 6 months. So after the restructuring, the first coupon was due August 2023.
Yeah.
For all of them. Then the second one due February 2024. Third one, August 2024, up to now. So every 6 months, the coupons are due. So that becomes a huge amount of money. The other ones, because they are spread, I get mine this week, Kofi gets his next week, Amma gets his next 2 weeks. You don't see it, the effect, that big effect. But the ones that were restructured every 6 months, they are due. And that is how you get this huge one. So those whose account will be getting the alert are those whose bonds were restructured and not those whose bonds were not restructured. Of course, if your bond was not restructured, but you have a coupon which ordinarily was due this February 14th or 16th, then you, of course, will also have your coupon. But that is not part of the 6 months coupons that are paid for those who got their bonds restructured.
Doc, you've been monitoring the market, especially the securities market. Most people invested in the bonds market. How would you assess the participation in the last few years? And also, what kind of optimism are you looking forward to after this announcement, basically?
Well, we can say that a lot of money is available for investment. And that is so because as at now, the only securities available for investment is the Treasury bill. Government is no longer issuing bonds, and so Treasury bill, and that is how you see oversubscription of the Treasury bills always, because when people get their funds, even before the 6 months one, the big one, that is the restructured ones come, even the individuals who get theirs on regular basis, where do they have to invest it? They have to go to the Treasury bill market. So even without this coming, you see that the Treasury bill is always oversubscribed. So with this coming, the oversubscription is going to be even higher.
Yeah.
Because more money now has come to the market. So we can see that it will be very much oversubscribed. And that tells you that there is a need for us to introduce other forms of investment so that these funds can be mopped up. Otherwise, you ask yourself, where would people be keeping these funds? And that's why something like infrastructural bonds that has been spoken of, we believe may come on board. Cocoa bills may come on board. And ultimately, we also believe that government itself would also be coming out with its own bonds. Now that we have, if you restructure your bonds, it doesn't mean you won't borrow again. Definitely, you will come back to the market. And that is why it is important that after the restructuring, you keep on managing yourself to ensure that the periodic interest coupon rates are paid as and when, so that the investor become confident that you are now doing the things that you have to do.
All right, Doc, please hold on for us briefly. We'll be back on this particular conversation shortly. But before then, there is ongoing pressure by the New Patriotic Party, and they are speaking right now. We are crossing over. We'll be back with more.